Too dark. Yeah, probably it's pretty dark here. I
He's
will
in a
admit though,
cave.
that light
You
right now
find
at this
yourself
time
in
of
a
night.
cave. You find yourself in a cave. All you have is a club and your wits. And a pair of very old shoes. All right, so so let's we're just going to talk about your channel and directions you want to think about taking and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean the first thing I guess is crafting with Arthur in relation to the channel in whole. You know, I want to obviously start doing things on the channel through other creative avenues in my life, and doing that, I think I create maybe a complication with the channel, because obviously with, you know, your channel, Scotty's channel, they're dedicated channels. So yeah. I mean, what would you think on that note first?
Very much keep the channel in specific niche. So like for instance, your channel has things where you do music and that. I mean, I'm not saying that is bad. All I'm saying is that should be separated out into.
Yeah, I mean, I started my channel. I started crafting with Arthur on, you know, just on my channel. I guess I mean, so can you run dual YouTube accounts?
Yeah, I've got like about 12.
DMG, the That's YouTube right. master.
DMG 5, DMG 9. Where the hell is DMG?
Bow to DMG. Yes, is that something that's sorry, I dropped my pen. Where did you go? Is that something that's just a matter of doing, kind of like signing up for another account?
Yeah, well, no, you can have the same account, you just create another channel, so you can actually have multiple channels.
Ah, okay, cool.
So you can just flip between them.
And are you able to do that and just kind of transfer the videos without losing views, or?
No, you would keep your existing channel as is, and then create an entirely new channel with the new direction and you know, that sort of stuff. So
okay, cool, fantastic. Okay, so yeah,
the benefit of doing it that way is all the things you've gained access to because of your current subscriber level transfers over to the other channel. So, you know, when you hit a certain level, you can upload more than 50 minutes. All that kind of stuff transfers over to the new channel. But if you open a new account, that stuff does not transfer over. So you've got to start from zero. So, you know, it's like most of the thresholds now are 1,000 subscribers. You get almost all of the stuff that YouTube provides. So if your main channel, Crafting with Arthur, when that hits 1,000, all your other channels have access to that as well, which obviously helps a lot.
Wonderful.
Or if one of the other channels, you know, goes faster than Crafting with Arthur, all those things apply to Crafting with Arthur as well.
Wonderful.
Because it's your primary account, it's looking at as your total subscribers across all the accounts on that login.
Nice. So theoretically, I mean, so straight away there, I see in a sense kind of a marketing tree. Well, not marketing. I'm not selling anything, but you know, a kind of a plan tree forming where, you know, being that season 2 in its essence has not really been a season. You know, it has been a sporadic bunch of crafty videos here and there when they've come to me. Really, this last, I mean, I don't think it's really something to be get personal into, but yeah, I've just been moving houses a lot and doing like lots of random things, but on my feet. So yeah, one thing I'd love to sort out is a key issue, and that is this machine here that you are currently gracing the presence of. It is, yeah, I mean, it's only 5 or 6 years old. In uni, it just took a real bashing with editing and files and everything, just massive information. So I need to
know what the specs are of the machine.
Not too off the top of my head. I don't think they're bad. I've put a few more sticks of RAM in to help bring it up a bit. It overheats a bit. I could maybe just clean up the machine itself. So yeah.
What you could try doing, I have a laptop that I used when I started my channel. I've since built a massive desktop that does everything for me. But it was an i3 with 4 gig of RAM and a 500 gig hard drive. And rather than buy a new laptop, so I was using it for high definition video editing, which is quite taxing on an i3 processor. But the thing you've got to do is you must do your system settings and basically stop everything that's running, so that the only thing that's running is your video editing package. So turn off, it runs in the background like Skype or browser or anything that's sitting in the background. Just turn it all off. So what I prefer to do is actually have a second username. So you know how you can create a new user account in your computer? Well, create that user account, and in that user account, you turn off everything. You turn off all the fancy features of the laptop, everything. So when you log in, that's it, boom, it starts. And then you can use the video editing package. So you want to upgrade.
So effectively, if I wrap my head around this, you effectively set up 2 accounts on the start screen.
Yeah.
And one, you annul all the system settings, so Explorer, all of that, you turn it all off. And then you go onto the other one, and then you just open up the thing and leave it there, effectively sleep the laptop or hibernate the laptop, and then, just find that. I mean, I guess if you're editing a lot as well, that's
so
fantastic.
You must make sure that you've logged out of the other account so that it's not resident in memory. So you basically restart the computer and log into that video editing account, just call it video editing, and do that. So even if you're on a lower speed like i3 processor, you're immediately going to have more system resources available to you. So the next thing,
less lag and things like that. So
the next thing you got to do is check your RAM is at least 1333 megahertz in speed. So a lot of times people upgrade the RAM, but they upgrade on a slower chip. So it's better to have a faster chip of RAM. Ways you can get RAM is people who say, "Oh, my laptop's broken, I'm going to get a new one." Just say, "Listen, can I have your RAM?" They're like, "Oh, okay," you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that. We call that a skip up in my family. If there's a skip to be had,
people throw away. They buy a $2,000 laptop, and after 2 years they break the screen, so they throw it away and buy another one. So all those components still work except for the screen. So that's high quality components available to you. So you can always scratch around and find stuff like that. So you don't actually have to spend money on upgrading. Another thing you can do is invest in a faster spinning hard drive if you've got a spinning hard drive.
Well, one thing I'm just thinking as you're talking is I do actually have, I say gaming desktop, but it was a gaming desktop maybe 2003. So it's more of a highly efficient normal desktop now, or maybe mediocre even. But point being, it's somewhere in my parents' cellar, so that might just be worth grabbing. I've got this room now with a bit more space, and it's got a nice little, there's a clear space for it down there, and I've got a separate screen. I could theoretically be
2003. If it's 2003, you're going to be running Windows XP.
It's probably not 2003 then. I'm probably exaggerating for comedic effect, but I had it when I was like 17, so it's got to be at least 2010. But I bought it off a techie when I worked in an office, so
if you again, it's just a matter of tweaking it. So again, separate login, turn everything off.
Clean up all the programs that you don't need.
When you go into the Windows themes and stuff, just put it all to like classic and none, and turn off any kind of like fancy menu systems and all that. Just turn it all off. And you'd be amazed how much that changes the speed of your computer.
Cool. Well, that's a really good tip. So I definitely consider doing that, even just for having a laptop as well for creative purposes, or a desktop.
And do a good malware scan as well. So oftentimes it's the thing's being slowed down by malware, so get rid of that. But that's the technical send you, you just send me your stuff and I can work out some technical details for you. But
yeah, because sometimes, I mean, it drives me nuts. I don't want it to, obviously. I love doing it, and it's a labor of love. But I mean, the thing is, where I am with the financial situation, and when I was in uni, they were like, "Here's a CD, go and play with the latest software," and then you leave uni, and they're like, "We're gonna take that back," and then you're like, "Ah, no," and So I mean, it's funny because ironically, I feel a lot of the editing and stuff that I do with the program, I'll be frank, actually, if we're speaking frankly, it's I just kind of do what the program allows me to do. I've kind of got into a flow of what Windows Movie Maker allows you to do. I try to make it look as little Movie Maker. I'm quite a fan of that thing where it does like all the stars and stuff. I know it's not high tech, but I think it's kind of cool. You see it all over YouTube, obviously, but hey, I like it.
I hate Windows Movie Maker.
Yeah, I mean, I hate Windows Movie Maker, but don't get me wrong. I could go and get myself a copy of Premiere Pro, but I'm not really.
I bought years ago a copy of the education copy of Adobe Creative Suite CS2, which I would have sent to you for you to use, but it doesn't have high def. It doesn't do high def. It only does standard definition, and there's no upgrade to it. So
no, that's all right. But yeah, I mean, it's something I'm definitely going to sort out soon. We'll try.
This crazy thing, they have this education discount thing in software, and this box here was about $4,000. All right, but if you bought it with a student card, you get it for like $900. So I was busy selling. I was selling for a store, and the guy came in and wanted to buy this. And he had a student card, so okay, great. Yeah. So I ordered 2, and I bought the other one. And then, of course, I got the staff discount on it, so like it ended up only costing like $500.
Oh my, amazing!
But I used this for years. For years, I used it, so it was a worthwhile investment. But, but now I'm on to CS4, which is all you need for HD. But the great thing now is with software with Adobe, you can actually rent it. Well, not really rent it. Well, you pay a monthly subscription. I'd love to do, yeah. But otherwise, look at free ones like Lightwave.
Yeah, Lightwave. That's the one you shared on the Content Creators Network. Yeah. That one is something I was actually quite interested in. I believe I downloaded it. It was probably about this time of night when I started to try and play with it. So I probably was like, steep learning curve. And then like, I'm going to get an orange juice and defeat this thing. Get an orange juice, sit down. Like, I'm kind of tired, But I'll definitely I'll have a crack.
For that.
Yeah. If it's if it's one of those things that kind of once you've learned it, you're basically looking at the same thing that you're used to, i.e., professional software, then that's something I could probably wrap my head around quite easily.
Yeah.
And as I say, ironically, the editing, although I find it to be, well, given the speed of my laptop, probably whatever editing program I'm using. So given that, it's like I kind of don't mind Movie Maker so much sometimes because it gets the message out. But the editing does limit me, because I do believe there's things I could be doing creatively that are just holding me back a lot. So,
well, the key to editing is to keep it simple and keep the cuts simple. Don't worry about too much about the toolbox. So long as you can in and out and do a basic fade, that's all you really. I mean, if you look at my channel, that's all I do: in and out and basic fade. And I edit with a keyboard. I very rarely use the mouse, so it's all just time.
If anything, the simplicity of it keeps it well simple, but given, but it keeps it easy to watch and to digest.
Also,
and being able to do it as well.
Creating a template so you can nest the videos.
Sorry, DMG, I must apologize a second. I've got a impacted wisdom tooth, and I'm pulling some funny faces like this. So that's what that is, just so you know. Carry on, sorry. Editing, sorry.
Get a thing and just mallet and poof, there you go, problem solved. Blood. Blood.
Oh, fine. It's cool.
I'm playing an ogre in this game.
So talking of creative, the theme topics episodes, I mean, I love whatever I'm doing. I love doing it. But when I was playing, when I was in my parents' house last year and I was hosting games weekly, it was just lovely because I'd be like, "We need a pillar. I'll make a pillar. I'll film a pillar." And now it's like, "What should I film?" And it sounds so silly because there's obviously 1,000 options. So the question, I guess, is should I go for like the list stuff, just kind of because I mean I enjoy doing kind of the decor stuff. So should I just kind of go tables, chairs, bottles, pile of cards, or should I just go? I mean, obviously it's hard to get what people want to see when they don't really know what they're going to get given. Is that so? I mean, I want to ask what people want to see. So what do you recommend? Should I kind of try and find out, or should I just kind of go through a basic list and stick with a basic structure?
I don't think you should try and find out purely because, people will give you a response and that response will be 1,000 different things. So the first thing I feel with a channel should be, is this something you want to watch? That's the most important thing. Forget about the audience. Forget about subscribers and community and all that kind of thing. Is this something you would want to watch? Because you're the one that make this thing.
Crafting with Arthur is going to take a funny turn.
It's like, you're the one who has to edit this and sit and watch it 100 times more than the average person has to watch it. So if you don't enjoy it, then you're going down the wrong path. So you are the one who, you're your own worst nightmare when it comes to critique and things. I mean, oftentimes people have no idea the kind of labor you've got to go through when editing and going, oh my God, what the hell is that? And then later on, you watching one of your videos and you see something, you go, why the hell did I leave that in there? You dumb bastard. And other people don't see that. So you're your own worst nightmare when it comes to, that sort of thing. So I think it's very much, you should look at what you want to see and let that drive the direction of your channel. The reason I started doing Under the Tavern was because I wanted to do something like that to showcase my tiles, and no one had really done it before, and I thought it was going to be a complete flop. I thought no one's going to want to watch this. People are just going to bag me out. They're going to, they're going to start throwing tomatoes and say, this is the shittest thing. How can you even put up an adventure like this? It's garbage. That's what's going through my head, right? And then I put it up, and everyone's like, "This is fantastic," and it's like completely contrary to the way I'm thinking. But it's what I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see and what I wanted to watch. So that's why I did it.
I mean, if there's one thing I'm learning from Easy Painter at the moment, it's like that exact thing. I put up this thing earlier, which a lot of my friends might have looked at this thing I put on Facebook and been like, pull it out your ass, But like, because I put this thing up that said something like, don't let someone dim your light because your light blinds their eyes or something like that because of our good friend. And but no, it wasn't because of him, but I mean, it's just like there is a general funny consensus in the community but then this is it, there is no consensus in the community.
No,
it's all in here, man. So I'm starting to like get my head around this stuff and things with Easy Painter, and it definitely helps with Crafting with Arthur. The thing with Crafting with Arthur is what you say is a great point, like something you want to watch. That's an interesting point because it's funny. I mean, I love watching Scotty. I love watching you. I love watching Nathan. I love watching AJ. I love watching, I could go on, but I just don't know if like what I want to watch. I mean, when you say that, it sounds so cheesy, but what I want to watch, like we've talked about it a few times, is teaching my girlfriend because she's funny and she's adorable. And I think people would react well to her as well. Like she just loves to learn, but like, I don't know, I think that would be good. Like teaching someone on camera, because then people can just watch like some kind of almost craft lab style relationship kind of thing.
Well, there's an old saying, which is the best way to learn something is to teach it to someone else. And that whole process of actually, I mean, I've learned a lot about crafting from shooting my channel. I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but You know, like I hadn't used a hot glue gun before, you know, like the week before I started doing the channel. I've never used a hot glue gun before, you know.
I don't think I'd ever use one for a dungeon towel, so I know what you mean. Yeah.
Now people ask me advice about wattages and all this. I have no idea. I just walked up to the shop. Oh, hot glue gun, $7. Okay.
I want to just like throw this out there because I'm in the same boat. I'd like played with the glue gun, but never used it for crafting. But like people have been asked this question, and I've always been jealous. So I just want to say that the first DM Scotty video I watched was Gelatinous Cube, because that one was like the glue gun episode, wasn't it? You know, so definitely worth like a
sacrifice.
Yeah. What do they say on like programs when it's like, before we mention our number one, it's like valuable mentions like DM Scotty's Gelatinous Cube. Yeah. He found his way in here. Yeah. Love it. Okay, so that's actually nice. All of that is fantastic because it gives me a lot more direction and structure and just an idea. I mean, even if I don't go down the route of teaching, well, by the way, in my business class today, we were talking about mentors, and my business teacher is a lovely man. He's a dry comic stand-up, but he's the definition of dry comic stand-up. So he went, "What is a mentor?" to the class, and I said a dispatcher, which is in like Star Wars, Obi-Wan, right? But I didn't want to say Obi-Wan, so he went, what's a dispatcher? I said, Gandalf. And everyone kind of looked at me, and he was like, and I kind of gave him the eyes, like, write it on the board. And he was like, Gandalf, like, wrote it on the board. I was like, yes, like, loud in my business class, like, yes. Loved it. It was a golden moment of my day. But yeah, so even if I don't go down that avenue of being the mentor situation, it still makes me think, you know, I kind of do just want to do the fine stuff. That picture I put up that said thank you, that was something I planned on doing, and then I moved house. It was like a thing I set up, and it was a way you could take old sprues, like sand them into a circle and whittle them down into a bottle, but like tiny. And I just think like it'd be nice because I could be like, make this little detail, and then make one of DM Scotty's or DMG's things and put it on, kind of like creating a chain almost, you know? Because what I do at the moment is just kind of like, here's what I do, here's when I do it. Like, and sometimes it'll be like, this is the Arthur way of doing it because I'll think of a slightly different way or something. But just as everyone else, it's just like sharing the passion and things.
You're in a unique position because you have like virtually no money. So that influences the way that you're going to shoot and the way you're going to think about stuff. So you can't go out and buy a 20-pound thing of Mod Podge because you know that's what you should use, because that's just ridiculous, right? You can't afford that. But you know, that's kind of where my channel was when I started. You know, my business was ticking over, but I was expending a lot of money on rent, and so I wasn't really making a lot of money at all. So you know, and I thought about the sort of technical level that I wanted the channel to be at, and it was really I don't have any money, so I'm going to try and just use stuff that's literally available for almost nothing. And you know, and do that. So you know, your mode of thinking when you're thinking about episodes and stuff to do and stuff to make and all that kind of stuff, if you continue that mode of thinking, because that's going to help anyone, even if people who do have money, they go, well, that's an interesting way to do something. That's a new way, a new technique that no one else has considered, you know, making bottles out of sprues and like, you know, that's a great idea. I mean, there's plenty of different ways of doing bottles. I've got a slightly different way that I haven't put up yet, but you know, it all kind of, you know, how is it fast, cheap, etc. And so you need to kind of have that mantra about your channel is what are the things? Is it, you know, is it fast? Is it cheap? Is it teaching? Is it, you know, what are you going to make sure that every episode has those elements in it? You're not going to walk out and say, I want you to go and buy $150 worth of brushes so we can start.
And everyone's like, "Whoa, hold up a second! Like,
hang
I was
on,
standing outside the thrift store with a handful of change. Your episode on YouTube, like, yes,
right.
It's up. Play. Go to Walmart and spend $200. What? No, yeah, that pissed people off. No, that's a really good way of looking at it. Yeah, I mean, what's nice about doing the business course is I can apply all that stuff, you know.
Not that there's a problem with that. I mean, obviously, you do need channels at different levels. So you got, say, for instance, Terranscape, who, he's got very expensive materials that he uses. And so there's space for that kind of channel. So, but obviously in the circumstances that you're in, you can't go out and say, well, we're going to buy $500 worth of stuff to now make gaming boards.
One day. I mean,
just,
when I was
practical.
When I was in what I call the Wargamers Golden Window, and this is basically when, you maybe just start working, but you're young enough to like not pay rent for like 2 or 3 years to your parents. So like everything you earn is just like this golden molten gold in your fingers, and it's like, oh, like underage alcohol and like just cigarettes and like toys and just I don't know why I'm even buying them. In this time, I was like spending all my money on terrain and miniatures, and just this was like that was my degree time. If there was ever like a qualification, I just like sat and did all this stuff. The ironic thing is, in my life, I've never had like a good camera, and I love cameras, and I'm pretty nifty with them. Like they kind of speak to me in a weird way, like guitars do to some people. My guitar does not to me. My guitar's like, dude, I'm tired. Leave me alone, But yeah, so like
cameras
that's
you can experiment with. And,
this is my camera, if you're interested. Sorry, it's a Lumix.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not. Oh yeah, Lumix Panasonic DMC TZ18. It's all right.
The key with cameras, and especially cheap cameras, is light. The more light you use, the better results you're going to get from a cheap camera. So, if you're using one light now, use 3 more, and you'll probably see a huge jump in what you're doing.
I've kind of got 2 that are going in the same way. But, do you know you hear me now? Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah,
like,
I know.
It's. I mean, that's a basic benefit for other people, but the more light you have, it's like when you.
Sorry.
If you take one of those cameras and you go outside, it looks great when it's outside when the sun is shining, and that's because the sun is like the most powerful light in the universe. Whereas inside, your little like 50-watt lamp is just nothing by comparison. So,
like if there was like a Gary Larson. Sorry, do you know who Gary Larson is? The cartoon artist.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
If there was a Gary Larson cartoon of the sun, and the sun in like on a film set, it would be like all the lights would be gathering around, but they'd be like looking at him like he was weird, and he'd just have like spot, fill, all the different words for the different lights all over him, and they'd be like, all right, just because you can do everything all at once, like and perfectly. Yeah, it is good. Listen to what Gareth's saying. Yeah.
Don't worry about things like spot and fill and the perfect 3-point lighting system. I mean, my videos are one light. It's it's like an 800 watt.
One thing I was going to say, like, if you're within I've got a couple of, well, for you, but one thing I wanted to mention, like, was these, because I got this from IKEA. If you're within an IKEA, and it's just like, so my Xbox is right here off screen, and it's just like little wire, and you plug it in, and it like just moves around. It's just a bit off screen, which is a shame, but you can see that it's intensely bright, a really nice range. So here it's quite soft. I was thinking a little very cheap, a cool like cheap rig that you could build would be 4 of these going up those little 4 USB ports linked to your port, and just kind of reinforce them with some other wire or duct tape. That could be so well utilized. And I was thinking of something similar for displaying my Easy Painter miniatures in conventions as well, but going like this, like a Dr. Octopus around, pointing towards the miniatures.
The great thing about that is, I assume that's LED, right?
Yep, and I think it's 1,000 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not going to generate any kind of heat.
Yeah.
So what you can
Tiny
do,
little LED.
people think, well, how do I do a camera rig? Well, the easiest way is you get a box and you cut out one side. So, or you just leave the side that's open, you leave that open. And then in the top, you cut a hole and you put your camera lens through the hole. And then you cut other holes in the sides and you stick your LED lights through there.
Yeah.
Instant studio, mini studio. So now you're just putting your hands in and doing whatever you need to do inside that box. And you can line the box with any kind of background you like. You've just created an instant mini studio that you can basically just fold flat and shove it in the cupboard. And then when you want to come out, just unfold it, stick the lights in, plonk the camera in through the hole in the top, and away you go.
Yeah. I mean, in this particular position that I'm in
build
here, where I
any
film.
professional.
Yeah. Well, I made a little rig actually. Where is he? Oh, he's fallen down the side. But I made a rig, a long card rig, and I put like 3 layers of corrugate. I reinforced it with Popsicle 6 all the way along, put a nice hole, reinforced that with hot glue as like a rubber positioning, and it works pretty nicely. I used it in the last video. So, I mean, the last video was probably closest to what I was looking at production value for the next couple of videos, just because that really allows me to keep it at that consistency. But this space is tiny by here. It's like it's a cool painting desk. It's like one of those like kiddie tiered desks, squeezed it in, but it is an awkward space. I'm looking at a really lovely studio space, £40 a week, for 2 meters by 2 meters in town. And I'm just waving this thing about. I don't know why. And it is, it's a great like kind of art space. I was going to take Easy Painter there. You get to like, it's an open art space with no walls. You're going to put your logo up and stuff. But I just thought like it has a nice face to it. And there I have a lot of space. So I can even just like, because I'm not talking to anyone when I film the episodes, you know, I narrate on the edit most of it. I could just film with that natural daylight on that beautiful studio floor. That could be like that could even be like a kind of a point of it. Like, as you say, yours always has that same table, and I just like seeing the backdrop. I always like that Battlestar move, like, you know, or something like that. And I just love those moments, you know. Other people may not have
some of the LEDs have moved in between.
Yeah, I mean, other people may not be as weird as me, but I enjoy that. You know, like I'd love to have like the Easy Painter logo behind me, chat away, and then just maybe move it one episode and move it back and watch the trolls go crazy. You know, like just like, and then just be like, oh man, like love it. I don't know.
I even thought of one thing where I would have a different shirt made that was exactly the same font and everything, but there'd be like, you know, the words would be kind of slightly misspelled, and then it would be like, I wonder if anyone notices.
That would be amazing. Do it. Wait, no one heard. If anyone's listening or will listen.
Well, I mean, that's what I did with the secret passage videos. Is like there's actually hidden clues in all my videos. Well, not all of them, some of them that lead to the hidden videos that, you know, are not listed. So, you know, and then like, you know, some people go there for months. They try and find these things. It's a very simple puzzle, but it's like people overthink stuff. And you know, like one guy commented, "Is the best thing he's ever done on YouTube was trying to find what's." It's like it felt like it was Sherlock Holmes, like trying to find the hounds of basketball. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, good book. Blooming great book.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, okay. I guess my last question then would be Easy Painter, being that, you know, I'm beginning to brand Easy Painter now. I'm beginning to market, even in the sense of thinking about it, you know. But, you know, every little helps.
Yeah.
What would be your thoughts on the way I'm presenting Easy Painter with Crafting with Arthur at the moment? Just in that little, just like kind of hint at the beginning, having dropped the kind of goofier beginning, which I liked, but the editing program didn't really allow for. What do you think?
I would.
And you can be honest, and, you know, please be honest.
Look, although Easy Painter, the painting lends itself to crafting. It is a different thing. you want to start a painting tutorial service. I mean, obviously that's what your Kickstarter was about.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be something I'd like to do now when I've got a more professional setup going, and I guess it's something that we live in a world where show people a big table with nice stuff on it, and they'll help you out.
I think if you wait until you can get a more professional setup, how long is that wait? You know, it's like, why not start now? You know what I mean? You work to the limitations that you have, rather than having to spend £1,000 or whatever on equipment and all that kind of thing. Obviously, you can do that in the future because you know what it is that you need. But if you start now with what you've got, it becomes easier to define what it is that you need so that you don't overspend. I find a lot of people who they go out and they buy all this fancy stuff, and then 80% of it is unused or is not applicable, or, you know, that kind of stuff. I would actually start now. And one of the benefits of that is, because you're building the business and you want to get it out there and all that kind of thing, don't apologize for the situation that you're in. You know, just go forth and do it. It's like when Apple started, they were in the guy's garage. You know, when Microsoft started, they were in a guy's garage. You know, these are now the biggest companies in the world. Google was the same. They started in a guy's garage. Don't apologize for where you are now. Just do it, because you will get up to where you'll be able to afford fancy equipment and things like that. That's a foregone conclusion if you're doing it the way you want to do it, and you're putting your passion and effort into it. And I mean, you're doing the business course and all those kind of things. So you've got the right mindset. You know, you want to do it properly, and you want to, you know, create a business that you enjoy doing and all that kind of thing. Start it now. Don't wait, because the more you wait, the longer you'll wait. The you know, and then years will roll by. Trust me, years roll by like that. And then you turn around and you go, I'm in the same place I was 10 years ago, you know, and I still haven't got that $1,000 camera that I was, you know, wanted to get. I would start it now, and probably, I don't know, it's up to you, but I would think that Easy Painter should be your second channel, so your secondary channel. And run that, and start the thing you were talking about you're going to do in the Kickstarter. Do that now, but work within the limitations of what you have now. Build up a viewer base, build up the ad revenue, think about it strategically, put out, you know, 3 or 4 videos a week. So think about, you know, how are you going to do that, because you may be able to shoot all the videos in the space of 2 hours, and then do the editing, and then schedule the releases to come out at the right intervals, and then you can start pushing and telling people what's coming next. You know, DM Scotty does this well, where, you know, he starts to leave hints of what's coming next on his you know, his Facebook page. He'll show you pictures, and then the first one comes out, and then there's a part 2, and you'll wait like 4 or 5 days before part 2 comes out. You know, that's all part of it, building an audience. That's what it's about. You know, he and I discussed that, and, you know, he's put that into, and it works very well. So, you know, keep the videos short, keep them snappy, keep the kind of personality you've got. That's why people will watch, because they enjoy the personality, they enjoy learning things from what you're saying. And do what you want to do. Don't do what other people want to do, because the more
I enjoy the gentleman who said, "Keep your accents to yourself, if you please." And I was like, I put it on Facebook. I was like, "Guy just said, keep your accents to yourself." No, like, no. And everyone that I know is like, "That's so no, yeah, okay, no, yeah." Oh,
I mean, one of my videos starts with me going, "Stay a while and listen," and it's like, and the guy puts, like, you know, Deckard Cain quotes, really, with like a question mark, as in, like, what an idiot. But it's like, my response was, why wouldn't I? It's like, It's been like Google Plus like 30 times. You know,
amazing. Like,
people are gonna,
yeah, I feel proud of it.
People are gonna dislike what you do. They'll click the dislike button, but stuff that it doesn't matter. The dislike button is like the like button. It just, instead, one point you get.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
You have to remember that with YouTube. There's no bad
You
publicity.
look at videos that have gone viral that are terrible videos, like the ones that caused all the Muslim riots and all that kind of stuff. You know, most disliked viewed like YouTube video, right? It had like 100 million dislikes or whatever. It still had millions of views. You know, I mean, even, you know, it's not like it just got hidden in the basements of YouTube, you know, because it had like 1 million dislikes.
Yeah, it's not like they were like, go. Just stay.
I'm not saying that video is it's basically a completely reprehensible piece of media, but it just goes to show that dislikes don't mean anything. You know, if you get 1 or 2 dislikes in your video, it really means nothing.
You know, it's really funny how, like, the nature of my life is that I, you know, something negative will happen, and I'll be like, well, we call it the rutter face in my family. It's when the lip goes like that. Yeah. Then so you rutter. And then loads of great things will happen, and I'll sometimes, not all the time, but struggle to like recognize them, you know, because I'll be so like. But with like the internet stuff, it's funny because it just gets easier, doesn't it? Like, the prouder you get of what you do, the more you embrace it, the more you just go like it's really funny. Like, every day I read the testimonials page on my website. I go to the website, I read the testimonials page, and then I deal with anything else, because the first thing I want to read is people are liking what I'm doing. It sounds so like, but it's like, at the end of the day, if I keep that in my head all day, nothing can knock me down, you know. But yeah, like with YouTube, I just don't even see the dislikes.
Yeah, I mean, look, the testimonials, you know, they're more for you than they are for other people.
They're like a giant shield, like.
Yeah.
People are like, your paid jobs, and I'm like, yeah. People are like, but your paid jobs, and then I like hold up the one that's like, gritty and battle worn. Like, you know, your paid jobs are like they're from the trenches. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like.
That's right.
2015.
Amazing. I mean, you know, my painting jobs on my tiles are shit. I mean, my like paint jobs on my furniture and everything is I'm just slathering it in brown and then dry painting in like white. And I'm perfectly aware that this is just like the worst paint job imaginable. But the idea is to show people. The idea is to show people that it can be done. You don't need to be an artist to achieve a basic look, right? I'm more than capable of sitting there for 8 hours painting in
you got some wicked techniques.
Furniture, and people will go, "My God, I could never do that." And that's what you don't want people to say.
I'll tell you what someone said today that made me laugh on Facebook. They said, so I've been putting updates about this Prospector miniature I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've got one last update to do, and that's just to put Fool's Gold on like a wooden plaque on the front. But I put up an update today of my friend in the business course going with miniature, and he was like, "Oh shit, that thing is that small." Like, genuinely like that. That was his whole comment. "Oh shit, ... that thing is that small." And I was like, "Yup." like just sometimes you're like the internet. Sometimes the internet's just like, knock knock, ego, and you're like, "What?" And it's just like, "There's a letter for you." Like, you know, it's like this once in a while, you know. Like, I love it. I love that about the internet. But you're right. You are right. You could spend hours, and people would be like, but you could also just like knock it out. And like, I just like either. To be honest, like with the one I just did, the pillars, it was pretty much knocking it out. You know, it's funny. It depends on how you are with a glue gun. My glue gun is a horrific piece of equipment. It fell apart twice, and one time it just came back to life for me. I just was like, please, and it just started working again. So it's like, you know, like I don't even know what's going on with this thing.
It's like but you got like your lighter underneath then you jump. Come on,
well, DMG, watch my videos, and you'll notice there's never you never see this, right? This bit, because this is going trying to like squeeze, and I should just be going smoothly like this, and you'll never see the back because my thumb is pressing the glue stick in like this. But the point is, like, you know, I could make a massive deal about like putting loads of detail on, but like with that last video, I was like, you could do it like this, or you know, and most people probably went, okay, you know, and got something pretty cool looking. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
The idea is to inspire the audience to want to try it. I mean, the biggest thing for me is when people send photos of their tiles that look just like mine. It's like, wow, you know, someone actually paid attention to what I was saying and did exactly what I told them to do. You know, that you get this feeling like, wow, you know, it's like I actually mean something to someone. It's like a psychological boost.
It's a little high, isn't it? It is a little high.
Yeah.
Someone says something like, you know, I didn't think of this, or I love this, or like I've had people say like, I'm crafting with Arthur. Like there's that DM Blair. He's a great supporter. Every time he comments, he's so like, I don't think he's being critical, but if he was, he'd be completely constructive. But he is so positive and like energetic with his comments. I love that. You know, it's like. And what did some guy said the other day, you know, like, awesome, just what I was looking for. What about this next? You know, it's like, and then when they do that, this actually explains that little high you were talking about. When they do that, the first thing you do is it not this? What that guy just said, and you write it down, and it's so funny because then you kind of go, I don't even want to do a video about like shelves or like I don't know, whatever it is, you know, but. Someone just asked for it and you suddenly feel like you want to. So yeah, that'd be nice. Well, I'll see what I can do about getting crafting with Arthur a bit more regular. I think one thing I definitely am going to do is just make a plan to make it less scary. Well, not scary because it's not scary, but you know, less like to take on in the day, and then just film a bunch. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I mean, of the education to sit down and just go film. Yeah.
Don't limit your personality. I mean, your personality is great, and the jokes and all that kind of stuff. You know? But
episode 10, hi.
You must go. Okay, I have 20 seconds to do my joke in the beginning, and then you know, down to the serious stuff of fucking this shit up. You know.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you've got 20 seconds, you know. So start by doing that so that you because otherwise what you'll do is you'll spend a whole bunch of time on doing that intro, you know, and then there's like 30 seconds of crafting.
I hate editing intro.
Yeah, it's
editing intros is rubbish.
I mean, you know, you look at my videos. It's just this is DMG, and today we're crafting shit. And then
I love it.
You know? And you know, just I will do say 10 episodes at once. I'll just sit in front of the camera and go, okay, what am I going to do for the next one? This is DMG, and today we're crafting manhole covers. You know, and do another thing for the thumbnail. You know, and that I sit there for all of 5 minutes and just do 10. And then at the end, it's like, okay, what video was this? Okay, pick up the thing. Okay, so that's how we make manhole covers. And I've got like all the stuff I've done like laid out in front of me. And it's like, okay, what was next? Okay, and so that's how we do blah, blah, blah. And so when you see the end of my video, it's always me picking up the thing because that's how I remind myself what the hell the thing was about. Because you
know, everyone does it somewhere.
Well, the actual crafting was shot like 2 months before. So like,
and you're just like capping it.
You know, your mind tells you that I'm doing it all at once, but the reality is it's shot like months apart. It's like backlogs of stuff. Because I'll go, okay, I'm running low on videos, so this weekend I'll sit down and I'll just film like the next 20, you know. And then it's like, okay, put them on the machine, and then, you know, just start editing them, and then it's like, you know, one night late, I'll go, okay, now I've got to shoot intros for these things. So then I shoot all intros. So now I've got like 20 videos with intros and everything, but I now have to do the voiceovers. So it's like, okay, I need to release a video today, so, you know, now I'll do the voiceover.
Uh,
It's like,
this is
what is this video about?
you're making me smile so much. My cheek with my wisdom tooth is actually. I think I've compacted my cheek now. This is what you were talking about before. What people don't know that goes into it. So
Yeah.
good planning. One thing I've always found, and this is everyone watches my videos. I say a lot of stuff like things I found. He's 22. But like I definitely found in university and in work that planning is like 90%. You do your planning, everything else just kind of falls into place. I bet when you do your things, you don't go like, oh God, what am I doing? Where is it? Stop. Did I leave it in? Which folder did I leave in? That's probably what I do. You're more like, where is my paper that I write the other part of the intro on? Okay, there it is. That's what that intro was. Okay, and then you pick up the camera and film it. Bit of planning. At the end of the day, if there isn't a boss there to tell you what to do, you got to plan it. So.
Well, I'm my own boss, and that's the worst boss you can possibly have because he doesn't let you have any holidays and he lives in your mind.
Well, I'm going to be my own boss soon, hopefully, so it's going to be interesting.
Well,
but you know what? I've had a couple of years off. So now.
Yeah, well, look, one thing you've got to realize when you think, you say like, oh, you don't realize the certain great things that are happening. Sometimes you're not aware of them. And one of the things is when you wanted to leave home and you thought you can't do it, you can't afford it, etc., etc. But you're doing it now. And it was like, oh, where am I going to live? What am I going to do? So all these kind of problems are problems of the mind. They're not problems of reality, and people are like that. I do it myself. All this imaginary shit as to why you can't do something. And then it's like, there's just got to have a moment where you go, hang on, there's no actual problem. It's just me being a dickhead, I've got to now like knuckle down and do this shit and stop whinging to myself and can just put it out there, and that's, like I have a client and I said to her, we need to shoot 50 videos. And she says, that's a lot of videos. And I said, yes, and we're going to do it in one day. She says, no, you can't do it in one day. It's not possible. You're crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then another friend of mine who has a YouTube channel, I said, I want you to come and help me because he owes me a lot of favors because I helped him with his channel. So I want you to come and help me. I want to shoot 50 videos in one day. And this is a guy who like takes like 10 days to shoot one video, and he's like, you're crazy, it can't be done, blah, blah, blah. And so I said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. So I had like the shooting summary of what was going to be shot in a day, and I had times, and it said, okay, from 10 until 10:15, this is what we're shooting. From 10:20 to 10:25, this is what we're shooting.
Yeah.
And I had a person there, and they were the timekeeper, and they was like, okay, stop filming. And it's like, and we did it. We shot 55 videos
DMG,
in one day.
In a matter of speaking, you're basically you're advising me to be me in 2013 when I was on set going, guys, who left this crisp packet on the wire? That is a hazard. And they were like, Arthur, it's a crisp packet. There's no teachers here. I was like, that's not the point of the exercise. So you're asking me to be that guy again, aren't you? You're asking me to go back there. You're asking me to do it again.
Yourself. You put a watch up and you go, I've got 15 minutes to shoot and do this episode, and I can't take any longer than that. And it's like, if you don't do it, you feel like you failed. And that's what you want. It's like, you get it down to 10 minutes, 5 minutes, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we shot 55 videos in one day. We finished 3 hours early, and we came in under budget. So, military precision is what it's all about. But look, it just, again, problems are created in the mind. Oftentimes they're not actually real problems, and it's very important to do things where you're happy about what you're doing and people are responding well to what you're doing. That's the key thing, because that will just continue to motivate you to do more. There's lots of potential for Easy Painter and Crafting with Arthur. You do things differently to the way I do it, to the way Scotty does it, to the way Nate does it, or Nathan, so there's always another corner. There's lots of different corners for people to fill different things, and you'll have ideas on how
what did I say that object was in the pillars? I don't know. I like counted it and said it was hexagonal or something. Is that even a word? Hexagonal? Hexagonal? Is it? Is it not a word? I don't know. See, I totally I'm such a flunk in math.
It's hexagonal.
See, there you go. But we are a hexagonal community with lots of
hexagonal
corners.
is a spell word from Hogwarts.
Hexagonal tubus. Or hexagonal pillar. No, something like that.
Facus Latinus.
All right, well, I'm going to have to call it a night. We're coming up to the big old 12, but have a lovely day. Enjoy work. And thank you.
Good luck with the channel. Anyway, I've got to go and play in a DM. I've got to be in a Pathfinder game with DM Scotty and Nathan now. So.
Do you know, I just literally with that. Tell them this when you see him as well. With that one, I just because it was up for like 2 or 3 days that feed about doing it, and I just missed it. Like I was just like I trained a couple of times and then I didn't, and then enjoy. I'm jealous. I really am.
Yeah, Nathan and I'm playing a dwarf thief, and he's this barbarian guy. He's starting to become like the dynamic duo, and I don't think the DM's too impressed with that.
I love it.
Chaos reign.
Chaos. DMG, Nathan, and DM Scotty all together.
When you're trying to DM a whole bunch of DMs, it's like it's like we know
you ask me loads of questions all the time. Like
we know where all the things are. We know where all the bodies are buried. We're just gonna cause shit.
Just like lots of death.
There wouldn't be a secret passage if I just bulldoze the wall down. I'm making my own secret passage.
There's always a way through.
Well, good luck, and
good luck.
Start posting. I want to see one up by the end of tomorrow.
With it? Get rid of this wisdom tooth. Then I'll be like, hello, cracked my mama.
Hello, welcome to Easy Placer.
That's actually really good. Hello.
Hello.
Good day.
I am not handicapped. I only have wisdom.
I lost my wisdom, but I'm still wise.
My wisdom score is 1 because I have a wisdom.
So die. Good night.
Right. This is how I do orcs.
Have a good day, man.
Cheers.